Psychology says that some people choose to cry in private because they learn to handle their emotions on their own. Not because they don't feel deeply, and not because they are always strong, but because they don't feel safe showing their pain to others. They usually wait until they are alone, when no one is watching, before letting their emotions out. For them, privacy feels like the only place where they can truly be honest with themselves. For some, this habit developed after being disappointed too many times when they opened up. They realized that not everyone knows how to listen with care, so they slowly stopped sharing. Over time, being alone became their comfort zone for releasing emotions. People who cry in private often appear okay on the outside. They smile, laugh, and try to stay positive around others. They show up for people when they're needed and listen to everyone else's problems. But when it comes to their own feelings, they keep them inside. They don't want to burden anyone or feel like they are being dramatic. So they learn to stay quiet about what they're really going through. Sometimes they even convince themselves that their pain is not serious enough to talk about. They compare their struggles to others and think they should just deal with it. This makes them minimize their own emotions, even when it hurts deeply. Psychology also shows that many private criers grew up feeling like their emotions were ignored or judged. Maybe they were told to stop crying. Maybe they were made to feel weak for being sensitive. Over time, this teaches them to hide their feelings. They start believing it's better to suffer in silence than risk being misunderstood or rejected. This can follow them into adulthood, even when the people around them are kinder. The old habit of hiding emotions stays. They want to open up, but fear holds them back. These people are actually very emotional, even if they don't show it. They feel things deeply. Small words can hurt them. Simple moments can stay in their mind for a long time. But instead of reacting, they keep everything inside. They try to stay calm, even when they're hurting, until it becomes too heavy to carry anymore. They replay conversations in their head. They wonder if they said something wrong. They overthink situations that others forget easily. Their mind never really rests when something hurts them. Crying in private becomes their way of protecting themselves. They don't want to explain what they're feeling. They don't want to be told they're overreacting. They don't want advice they didn't ask for. So they handle everything on their own in silence. For them, crying alone feels safer than being vulnerable in front of others. It's the only moment where they don't have to pretend to be okay. You'll often notice that people who cry in private are very kind and understanding. They don't judge others easily. They know what it feels like to struggle silently. They check on people. They notice when someone seems off, because they know how painful it is when no one notices them. They become the friend who listens, the one who remembers details, the one who truly cares. They treat others gently because they know how heavy emotions can feel. But deep inside, they can feel very lonely. Even when they're surrounded by people, they still feel unseen. They are present physically, but emotionally guarded. Not because they don't care, but because they are tired of opening up and not feeling safe. They want connection, but fear disappointment. They want to be understood, but don't know how to explain what they feel. When they finally cry, it's usually not about just one thing. It's everything they kept inside. All the words they didn't say. All the times they chose to be strong instead of honest. Everything comes out at once. Sometimes they surprise themselves with how much they've been holding in. The tears don't stop easily because it's years of emotions being released. If you're someone who cries in private, know that there is nothing wrong with you. You are not weak. You are not broken. You are human. You feel deeply in a world that doesn't always make space for emotions. And that kind of quiet strength deserves to be understood too. You don't have to rush yourself to open up. Healing looks different for everyone. But one day, you may find someone who makes you feel safe enough to share. And when that happens, you'll realize you never had to carry everything alone. If this made you feel seen, subscribe for more psychology content that helps you understand yourself better.